What's up, y'all? It's the Sneaker Aficionado, the solution, and today we're going to talk about what's going on in the culture. There's a couple of things that's going on in the culture. First off, I'm going to say this. It's not dying, okay? People are still going to buy sneakers. They're going to go out and look for the dopest thing. It's just been going on since people found out that sneakers were just as cool as dress shoes or a good boot. And with that being said, we're going to talk about one of the cultural chasms. If you see this, the separation between these two shoes as a symbolic approach to what's going on in the culture. And it's not negative. I think it's more of a misunderstanding and misguided messaging that's being put out there. Over here, you have the most iconic sneaker probably ever in the history of sneakerage. Okay, the respected Air Force One. Rest in peace, Charley Rudo. Make sure you know your history about that guy, or this shoe would not exist, and the sneaker game would be completely different as a whole. On this side, you have a Jordan retro release, the All-Star 6, aka the Chameleons. Okay, this is one of the hype beast shoes, one of the hype shoes, a release that was pushed, and it's doing okay. All right, it's already priced down, and people were saying, oh, you know, the old heads are killing the sneaker game. You know, they aren't talking to the new guys about why these sneakers are so respected and what's in the game, and they don't want to touch these sneakers. Okay, it's a generational thing. With a lot of older sneaker collectors, such as myself, collectors, pardon me, is that we're going to look for the sneakers of our youth that we probably could not get as a kid for financial reasons, or simply we couldn't find the shoe. Okay, so now those shoes are being released and we're going after them. A good example are the Barkleys, the Pennies, the Pippins, the Vicks to an extent, depending on how old you are. I was in my 20s when the Vicks were released. Big deal. I could have gotten those. I had a job. You know, so we're looking for those kicks, and those are dope to us. So you basically have two parts of the culture, actually three. You have the classic sneakerhead collector, which I kind of fall into that realm. Then you have the hype beasts, the heat. Then you have those who are purely sellers who collect to sell. Okay, so typically the hype beast group are younger. Okay, they're normally younger. You really don't see the older generation being involved in the hype beast thing. It's kind of weird when you see someone around my age group getting involved in the hype. And you kind of look at them like, what's the big deal, man? We tend to stay away from the Yeezys and the Ultra Boosts, which I do know some people within my age bracket that are big NMD guys and ladies, okay? But most of us tend to go after the sneakers of our youth, or a functional, dope-looking sneaker, such as the Asics Gel Light 2s, the Sauconys Jazz 9000s that are coming back, you know, the New Balance 900 series. We tend to go for those. But there's no beef, there's no riff, it's just misunderstanding, and you got to understand the culture of these two generations that's going on. So basically what's happening is, Daddy is saying, hey son, I'm dope, check me out. This is what we used to wear, and it's still hot to this day. Son or daughter saying, well Dad, I'm dope too, because these came out in this color and we basically flipped it on you, and now we're better looking. Well, those are nothing new to me. They're just in a different color. Okay? So now you need to come to an agreement and basically explain the historical aspect of when this shoe was first released in the original colorway. Now, this is a really cool colorway with the chameleon, with the color changing effect. And I'm telling you, the guys and ladies out in Houston should be eating this up, because it reminds me of that color changing paint. And the rapper Chameleon here, I know you own a pair of these. You have to. If not, please tell me why you don't own those. Matter of fact, you don't send me a pair. All right, another pair. But the importance of the shoe and the relevance of when the shoe was first released should be explained by our generation. Not talked down upon and, hey, you know, you just caught up in the hype and all that stuff. But warn them about what hyping shoes does, okay, economically, and being able to get the sneaker, and the sneaker being unique. when you push the hype, because this is a generation of the now. They click a button, the information is there. Where in my generation, it was word of mouth, and we had to research it. We had to physically go and do something, not push a phone and get it there. But that's just the time of change. It's not a bad or worse, but you do gain appreciation of something when you physically had to do it. Okay, and it didn't magically appear to you via the push of a button or a browser search. So there is a misunderstanding. There's no rift in the industry, and the old heads, if you will, should explain the relevance of the sneaker, and the younger generation should sit down and hear why this sneaker is so important, and why this re-release of the original shoe is now what it is. So moving right along with that, is the sneaker culture dying? No. I'm going to slide my wonderful first love of a sneaker, Air Force One, over here, pretty much out of sight, and we're going to talk about this Jordan as a representative of the releases that are coming out, so you can get a good pictorial representation of where I'm getting at with this. Nike is addressing two things with is the sneaker culture dying. What they have done is drive down the price point to attack the resellers, and they put out more product by doing that. So people are saying, oh man, these things are sitting, as they should, because, hold on for a second, I'm going to go back in time. These were always available. If you had the money, you could get them. Seldom did the shoes sell out, and if they did, they were quickly restocked. Well, Nike was making a lot of money off the limited releases and the exclusives, and it was generating a side effect that they weren't aware of and just didn't pay attention to. They put a blind eye to it. A criminal aspect developed, and that was people being robbed and murdered over a shoe. All right, this is where my generation comes into play, where we have a measure of responsibility of talking to the youth, if they're willing to listen, about why this is ridiculous. So parents of slain children, young men and women, have talked to Nike and said, hey, your shoes are the subject of people being harmed and killed. Okay, not pointing directly at you, but what they're going after is your shoe. How do you address this? And what they've done is made the shoe more affordable. So when the shoe is made more affordable, they produce more shoes. And no, there are no fake sneakers being sold at retailers, legit retailers, i.e. a Foot Locker, a Foot Action, a Finish Line. Those are all legit sneakers, but these sneakers are being manufactured at different locations, and that QAQC, aka Quality Assurance Quality Control measure, is not universal. So if you see tumbled leather on one shoe, the I'm going to make up a word, the tumblage may be a little bit more defined in one shoe and less defined in another. Does not mean that the shoe is fake. Okay, it just means the manufacturing process slightly varies. Now, what Nike will probably do, and whenever they get around to it, is send certified QAQC people to those locations and tell them, hey, look, you're diminishing the value in the look and the concept of the sneaker because they do not look the same. We need uniformity. We need these sneakers to look the same. So back to the pricing. With a sneaker no longer being $250, $225, and you're seeing it hit the shelves at $190, which was the last shoe to really hit at $190 consistently, was the Royalty 4s, which did not do so well. Okay, because people demanded more of Nike. That was not a well-made sneaker, in my opinion. Specifically, the gold tabs for the lacing system on those 4s. People demanded more of those. They look very cheap, and some people talk about them breaking. So what they've done is release sneakers around the 179. You're seeing 169, and pretty soon, I guarantee you're going to see releases around 159, 149, because these have allegedly been hitting the shelves at 139. And I said this is my first hype beat sneaker, if you will, that I ever came across. Maybe the SF Air Force Ones is probably one I actually waited for the release of that sneaker back in January, and I was excited about it because it was an Air Force One. Okay, and you guys know I love Air Force Ones with the gum sole. Can't go wrong with a gum sole. So they've done that, and the reseller really, it's pointless of buying 2 pairs of sneakers or 3 or 4 and saying, well, I got them, you can't get them now, I'm selling for $400. You're going to be stuck, okay? Then you're going to drive down your price point to get rid of the shoe closest to retail. So how much money did you really make after you shipped the shoe off, or you tried to sell it locally, hopefully? So that part is being diminished. Has it led to some of the big name YouTubers out there, the sneaker tubers, to get rid of their collections? Some of the bigger names are talking about, I'm selling off my collection completely because they're going a different way in life, or they just want to start all over, okay, because they have sneakers brand new that they bought and they aren't wearing. I'm kind of approaching that myself, but I'm starting to sell my sneakers anyway. I'm one of the newer guys, but I'm older, and I have sneakers that a lot of people are interested in. And I'm a local guy. If you know me, and you see some sneakers I posted on my YouTube video, you get up with me and they're off for sale, I'll sell them to you if I'm willing to part with them. But that's not my focus of doing this. I'm more informative than marketing, sales, and promotions on my YouTube video. So I'm not into the resale market. I don't buy 2 of the same sneaker, one to sell and one to rock. I'm not doing that. If I buy a sneaker, I'm buying it to wear it, and I'll get around to wearing it eventually. I had this sneaker for 2 weeks, and I just put it on last night. It's comfortable, okay? And you can't tell. You can't tell I wore the sneaker besides the sole underneath, which I'm about to clean after I drop this video. But there's nothing wrong with the industry. Things change and evolve over time. Some of the sneaker YouTubers have gotten away from previewing sneakers, and they're basically doing hunts and stuff like that. And that's fine. You have to evolve and change, because you might feel like the genre is saturated and they don't need another one of you, or you feel like you've attained a certain amount of notoriety where you don't have to go back and do those things. Okay, that's fine. But it's all about niche marketing. With me, I tend to go after the more older sneaker collectors, aficionado heads like myself that say, oh yeah, I remember that. And I also tell you where to get the sneaker, where some people won't tell you where you get the sneaker from. If you're in San Antonio, I'm going to tell you where I got it from at Marshall's. Some people don't do that, and that's fine. I don't feel like what I'm finding is such a awesome deal I can't share with you, because a lot of times I'll walk into stores such as a Marshall, Ross, Burlington, and say, you know something, these cool sneakers are too big for my feet or too small. I'll wear 9.5, and a lot of times those sneakers are gone because I'm size competing with some preteens. I'm not a tall guy. I'm a big little dude. I'm just wide as a mug. All right, but I have a small foot. This is a 9. Okay. And I have space in this one. This is odd. This is a 9. If I'm not mistaken. 9.5. This is a 9.5. Alright? But it's not dying. It's just evolving. That's all. And I got into this late. Some of these guys have been doing this for 3-4 years. And every week they're going out and they're copping 2 to 3 pairs of kicks. They're watching the releases. And everyone's pretty much posting about the same thing and giving their opinion, which is good, which is really good. Shout out to my man over in England who loved my Presto review, and I got a ton of hits with that. So people are seeing things from different perspectives when you post like that, and that's fine, but this isn't dying at all. We're going to still cop out sneakers, but you're going to have people who are going to flat out avoid the Yeezys and some of those high-end sneakers because they might feel like that's ridiculous. For $450, I'm probably going to try to cop 4 to 6 pairs of sneakers. Some big names are also posting about sneakers under $100. You can start off a good collection. Now, if you just want to be in the in crowd and go for the hype sneaker, that's on you. That means you're going to have less sneakers starting off depending on what your pockets look like. I'm not going to tell people, hey, get yourself a couple of credit cards and do this and do that, or I'm going to tell you about the discounts, okay? And I'm going to tell you where these sales normally are. If you're in my area, when I go back to Baltimore in the very near future, I'm going to talk about the stuff around there. okay, where I found my stuff, and there's a lot of places. I'll probably do a video on the essence of the Air Force One in Baltimore, because we love this sneaker still, okay, and that's just good for the culture out there. You have people who were around when the sneaker first dropped, so there's no riff. It's just old and new, kind of like the uh, the veteran player about to retire and the rookies coming in. You should bring them under your wing and show them the ways of the game. But the rookie also must humble himself as well and learn from the graying veteran and get their different points of view on how things work. But there's a measure of respect owed to both. If you're a young sneaker collector, I respect you. Salute to you. You have a lot of things I don't have, and they're unique. If I don't say anything, it's not my flavor. I'm not going to dish you. Oh, those are whack. All right, we might have a conversation about why you picked those, but I'm not going to disrespect and talk down on you. I'm not into the e-thugging. Okay, if we have a disagreement, I'm a grown man. You know, we settle it face to face or in a humble type civil way behind the scenes. That's just the way it is. But I'm not into that entertaining, dissing people online stuff. That's purely childish and immature. Right? If that's your way of the internet running, so be it. I'm going to ignore you if I see that, by the way, or delete it. That's the way it is. I have a right to do that. It doesn't help any. All right. Constructive criticism on anybody YouTube vlog. What do you get out of trying to make fun of people? We're humans. We're prone to mistakes. You don't do everything correctly, and you're roasting some of these big name people, or trying to. These big name people that are taking the time out of their lives and providing you information. So you scroll through YouTube, you know, that's not correct. Happens, okay? Happens. This is not my career. This is purely entertainment and education for some. But remember, as I always say, it's not about how much you paid for the sneaker. It's why did you pay that much for that sneaker? It's a good conversation to have. And it's not ridiculing. It's just a good question. Boom.